says, cousin, father cousin, you know that if I go to the king and he hasn't called me, you know the rule is he has a scepter in his hand. If you walk through the door and he has not called you, if he just looks at you, they take you out and kill you. If he takes a scepter and extends it out to you, then it's okay. You can come in and talk to him. And she says, on top of that, I haven't been on his mind lately. I hadn't seen him for a month. So it's not a good idea. She's living in reality. It's not a good idea. This is tenuous. It's not a good idea for me to go to the king. I'm queen, but my position is tenuous. I can't just show up and talk about we need to save the Jews. So she's living in the first part of reality. That's good. But she's not living in the second part, that she was made for the moment. If your biggest concern is what will happen to me, you're not living in the reality that you were made for the moment. It's not about you, it's about what God called you to do. The first part of reality, understand the way it is. The second part to understand, when those moments come, understand it's not about you. You were not, the moment was not made for you. You were made for the moment. So Mordecai is going to send back a message to her to let her know it's not about you, cousin daughter. Esther 4:13, Mordecai sent this reply to Esther. Speaking of moments, don't think for a moment, because you're in the palace, you will escape when all of the Jews are killed. He says, if you keep quiet at a time like this, if your first thought is, what happened to me? He said, deliverance and relief for the Jews will arise from some other place, but you and your relatives will die. Who knows if perhaps you were made queen for just such a time as this. Let me give you the interpret in between the lines what he's saying. He's saying, girl, eventually somebody's going to find out that you're a Jew too. And if you refuse to help, me and the rest of your relatives, we're all going to die. He said, now, they're Jews, so they know that God has made promises to Abraham. They know that God made promises to the people on Mount Sinai. He said, we're going to die, but God's going to make sure that the Jews are saved because he's promised. But it won't turn out good for us if you don't step in. Esther, this is bigger than you. And Esther, I believe you were made for this moment. Esther, have you ever thought that God made you queen so that you could do more than just wear a crown? Esther, have you ever connected the dots to see that God made you queen for this type of situation? Esther, God made you queen so that he could use you to deliver his people out of this situation. Esther, you're not a chess player. You're a chess piece. You've been put in position for this moment.